All right, this is TI University. This is Intermediate 301. Thanks everybody for joining. Let's dive in to the topics that we're going to be discussing today. These are the topics through each one of them. Without further ado, let's just dive in. Let's talk about the first topic, which is saving layout to the cloud. All right, in 101, you learned how to save any window that you might have to the cloud just by simply right-clicking in the window, finding the little cloud, and where it says Save or Share to Cloud, clicking on it, and hitting Save. Well, you can also save your entire layout. And you may ask, why would I want to do this? I have it saved on my server. Well, if you're going on vacation, maybe you want to take your laptop with you. It'd be nice to have your layout saved in the cloud so you don't have to rebuild your layout all over again on your laptop server. Same thing, you may be going to work, have a computer at work where you want to pull it up as well. Once again, just pulling it up for the cloud, but first you have to save it to the cloud. The way you do that is you find the toolbar, okay, and you go to File, Save or Share to Cloud, just like you would in a window, except you have an extra step here. You see this entire layout, you want to click that. That will populate all your windows and drop the word layout in this white space. And what I like to do is just go ahead and give it a date, okay? So this way, when you see it in your cloud, you will know that was the last time that you saved it. All right, so we got a date in there. Now we hit save, and it is saved to our cloud. So what we can do is go to my cloud, and you're going to see the top one there is going to be layout, and there's the date that we saved. Now, it's always good practice if you go through and find an older version, go ahead and delete that. You have lots of space in our cloud. That probably won't ever be an issue, but if you start saving a lot of layouts in here along with all your windows, you will find it kind of bogged down a little bit. It may take maybe 3 to 4 or 5 seconds to open up and show you all your windows. So it's a good practice just to always go and clean out duplicates, windows, and layouts. All right, the next topic is going to be how to better refine your alerts. This is a very important topic, okay? So let's just do this. Let's just build a new alert window. Okay, we're gonna go to our toolbar, click on New Alert Window. And anytime you want to start building a new window, the first thing you should do is always start from scratch. Just double click on that. You'll see the orange arrow there. That will let you know that everything's been wiped off and you got a fresh new window to start with here. And kind of going to go through this first part kind of quickly because we showed you in 101 how to build an alert window. So let's just go in here and let's just build a momentum window. We're going to start with a new high. Then we're going to go to window specific filters. And I'm going to show you 3 filters that I use in almost every one of my alerts. Okay, the first one is price. I always define my price. In this case, we're going to use $5 to $100. The next one is average daily volume. Okay, I like to avoid trading stocks that trade 50 or 60,000 shares a day. You got wide spreads, they can be quite volatile. So we're just going to come in here and put let's go with 500,000. This is subjective. Some people like to use 300,000. I like a good amount of liquidity. And another one is change from the close. Okay. Now, if you find that your filters are building up in here and you want to kind of reduce that, just hit hide unused. It will clean out all the filters that are not being used as a filter or as a column. All right. So let's do a search and do change from the close. There it is right there. We're going to add filter. And if I'm trading stocks, if I'm looking to go long, in other words, I want stocks that are up on the day. So I can just put 0.01 in the min column. And if I click on the show me button, it'll tell me that the stock has to be up at least 0.01% from the previous close. Okay, so we know the stock's going to be green on the day. All right, so let's add, since we're looking for momentum, let's add one more alert. I'm sorry, a filter. And this is going to be called volume in the 5 minute. So let me just put it in 5 minute. It's probably going to pull up. There we go. We're going to add filter, and we are going to use a minimum of 300%. Now, when you're looking at volume percentage, okay, you have to remember that 100% is normal. Okay, so when you put 300% in here, you're not putting 300 times normal volume. That would be huge. You're putting 3 times normal volume, because just remember 100% is normal. All right, let's finish this out. Add some columns here. I like to take out description if you're capable of reading a chart. That could be kind of wordy, and it can take up a lot of screen real estate. So I'm going to take out that one, but I want to add a few. I want to add change from the close. I want to add volume in the 5 minute. I want to see how much volume it's doing in that 5 minute time frame. And I'm going to add one more. It's called relative volume. If you don't see something, you know, in the column, you can go to search and search for a column as well. We can just type in rel vol, and we're not going to add filter. We're going to show column. Automatically puts it over there for you. All right, we're going to summary here. You always want to name your window. We're just going to call this test 301. And hitting the OK button will launch it. And just like in 101, we just built another window here. Now, what I like to do anytime I build a window, I like to see how effective it is and go and look at history. So we're going to go to history, and we're going to click on today. And it's going to pull up every symbol that came through here today. You see it loading. And you see I have more available here. Okay. What that's telling me is I had so many alerts coming through that the server could not give me every alert that came through since the opening bell. Stops at 9:04. I am on Central Time, so I'm missing about 35 minutes worth of alerts. Usually if I do something like I run history and I see more available, that's a kind of a hint to me that I need to refine this more. I got too many symbols coming through. It's going to be tough for me to follow. I can always right click in here, go to history, click on more, and it will start where it left off and give me, and look, it's still saying more available after the second run. Still got about 3 minutes I'm missing. Now, by nature, okay, this is going, I mean, we're looking for new highs. It's going to be doing good 3 times normal 5 minute volume. So by nature, you're going to see some good alerts coming through here. But you're going to also see some ones that are in what I call no man's land. This is a great example. Okay, look at the stock coming through here. It was meeting all of my parameters. It was hitting a new high. It was doing 3 times 5 minute volume. But look what's happening here in the daily. It's in what I call no man's land. Okay, and it took off this morning and immediately retraced because look how broken this chart is. This is the kind of stuff you want to avoid. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back in this filter and we're going to refine it so we can eliminate charts like this. Okay, these are death traps a lot of times. All right, so what we're going to do is go back in the configuration and see how we can better refine this alert. Let's go back into configure and pull up filters. All right, our first 2 parameters here, that's not going to do anything for us. These are just basically, you know, defining what our risk, our price is going to be and what our daily volume. These are not going to help us in getting better quality alerts. But how about change from the close? Right now, we have stocks that could be up just barely above yesterday's close. If they're doing the correct amount of volume, we're going to get it. You know, as long as they're hitting a new high, they're going to come through our alert. So let's think about momentum. What is momentum? It's not just volume, okay? It's volume plus price direction, okay? So if a stock is doing heavy volume but not going anywhere, it's just churning heavy volume. So why don't we come in here on change from the close, and let's change this to 1%. So we at least know the stock is up 1% on the day. So now we got the volume coming in, and plus the stock is up at least 1%. That's going to help us, I believe, kind of better refine this. Another one is 5 minute volume. Okay, we're asking for 3 times normal, basically 300%. What if we crank this up to 500? And I got a great analogy that I like to use in this scenario. I want you to imagine a log floating down kind of a quickly moving river. And also picture that same log going down Category 5 rapids. In what scenario is that log most likely to keep moving down that river? Well, naturally, it's the Category 5 rapids, okay? It's more likely that log going down a swiftly moving river could get hung up on debris, rocks, tree limbs, or whatever. But the same can be said about volume, okay? The more volume, okay, the more likely the price is going to continue in that same direction. All right, so we changed 2 of our current filters that we had in there, and we're going to add one more, and these are very powerful. Okay, you might want to jot these down. They're called position in range. We can abbreviate POSIN. And I like to tell people, if you can imagine a chart in your head, you can pretty much build it with our position in range filters. They're, like I said, they're very powerful. All right, we're going to use a position in 10-day range. We're going to add filter. And first of all, I want to explain to you how range is calculated. Okay, the low end of the range is 0%. The high end of the range is 100%. So let's say, for example, the stock that we're looking at is traded over the last 10 days, traded between $9 and $10. Okay, it's a $1 range. Okay, 9 would be 0, 10 would be 100%. So if I came in here on a minimum and I put 98, okay, clicked on the show me button, the price is at least 98% above the low end of this range. So in our scenario of $9 to $10, the stock would have to be hitting $9.98 for it to come through our alert window. So in other words, it has to be about to break out of a 10-day high. Now we're not going to use a max. So okay, we don't care. This thing could have gapped up or be at all-time highs. That's fine. We just want to make sure it's not in no man's land, not in the middle of a 10-day range. All right. Now, we could have come in here to where it says select alerts and just put 10 days. That would work, okay? But what I like about position in range like this is sometimes you can catch them right before they break out of that 10-day range. Get a head start, maybe a 10-cent head start. They could be huge. So I love doing it this way versus just putting a 10-day high. But once again, that's subjective. If you want to do it that way, that's fine too. We just want to make sure it's not in no man's land. Okay, let's launch this and see how much we've improved this window. We're going to right click and go to history again, put in today, and let's see if we got everything in here. Okay, you can see we're not getting the words more available. So we eliminated many of those alerts, probably about half of them. Okay, because they were in no man's land. They were not breaking. Now, every one of these you see, they are going to be at least be breaking out of a 10-day range. GE. Now, a lot of these were, obviously, you can see there's a 10-day range right there, breaking out of it. Let's take a look at PAN. There you go. See, these are the kind of things we want to find. Not the one like I showed you earlier that was in no man's land and running right into like a 5-day high and getting slammed right back down. All right, so that is the end of that topic, guys. Just remember, okay, do things to better refine your alerts, increase the volume. Okay, look at all these volume. Look at this heavy volume coming through on these things. They're all doing at least 5 times normal 5-minute volume. More likely that the price direction will continue in the same direction, much like Rambus could be potentially setting up right here for another move. All right, we got to move on to the next topic, and it is the red line of resistance. All right, let me see if I can find a good example in this alert we just built here. Okay, I'm not seeing it there. Let me see. I bet you if I go back here and find that same chart. Yeah, let's take a look at some other ones. There's a good one. Okay, you got ABR this morning, gapped up for whatever reason. It wasn't earnings, but if you were looking at this on the gap, you would have noticed over here we had a red line going across the top of the daily chart. What that is, it's what we call our red resistance line, and it's nothing that you have to do to get this. We automatically find this for you as long as you're using a new high alert. Okay, so let's see if I can find a better example. I think Rambus may have had one. No, let's see, that's probably on a multi-year high. Same thing with that one. See this position in lifetime range, position in year range. You're not seeing any red alerts on this because it is at all-time highs. There is no resistance. This is definitely going to have one. There you go. Great example right there. Okay, and let's go back in the chart here. Let me take off this RSI so you can see that better. Just removing an indicator real quick. All right, so let's zoom out on this LB. So if you were only looking at, say, 4 or 5 months worth of data on your daily chart, you would not have seen, the possible resistance over here. Okay, you may have been looking at this. Look what happened this morning. The stock opened up, ran right into that red line right there and backed off. That's because our software went out and find this, the next level of resistance for you. So you would see this even on the intraday. I can promise you a lot of traders just, ran in this first thing in the morning because it was doing huge volume. Okay, but hey, major resistance above, our software was pointing it out for you. So remember, this can come in handy. It can keep you out of trades, or it can get you in a trade if you see it breaking through that resistance. So it only works when you're using a new high alert. If I click on a top list, you're going to see, I'm not going to see any red lines. Okay, it doesn't work on a top list or an alert that is not a new high. You have to be using a new high. All right, next topic, external linking. I'm going to go over the basic instruction right now. In most cases, guys, if you can't get it working, just come to our online website chat and we'll help you. There's probably a document page we need to give you, or if we can't get, if that doesn't work for you, we'll eventually do a remote session and help you get linked. But I'm going to go over the basic instructions real quick. All right, so if you go to Tools, find External Linking. It's going to pull up the little module here. All right, and what you want to do is click on Add Link. Okay, and then read the instructions while keeping the window active. Mouse over the target window and hold down the Shift key to select the window. So let's take, for example, this window over here is our order entry window on our execution platform, and we want to link it. Okay, you want to, if there's a box where you input a symbol, that's where you want to hover. Then just hold down the Shift key and release, and you'll see it just linked that current window. Now, after you do that, you want to come down to this drop-down box and select, your broker if it's in there. Okay, if you do not see your broker in there, don't try to guess which rule to try to apply. Just try to link it without applying any rule at all. But let's say, for example, we're using TradeStation. Okay, we can click on TradeStation and it would automatically, if there was a rule to be applied, it would automatically put a check mark in there. Looks like there's not one for TradeStation. Then just click OK and you will see the window enabled in your little box here, and then close, and you should be set to go. Now, I do not want to do this, mess up my system here, so I'm going to delete this. Okay, perfect. But anyway, that's the basic instructions, guys. You can try the basic instructions. There's 5 or 6 platforms out there that have special rules or API settings that we need to tell you about. Don't worry, we'll get you linked up. If you can't, just come to our website, to our online chat, and we'll help you. All right, Now we're going to get on into backtesting basics. Now the reason we say basics is I am going to go over well, let me just pull it up and show you here. Let me make sure this long swing one's a good one to give you an example of. Let me make sure the configuration is right. All right, it is. Okay, so it has to be an A window if you are going to backtest a strategy, okay? Because what you need is a timestamp, okay, and an entry price. T windows do not have timestamps, okay? They are just a series of or a number of parameters, and any stock that meet those parameters will appear in your T window, and it refreshes every 30 seconds, okay? Whereas an A window, we have a timestamp, we have a price, okay? Secondly, we're going to need an exit price, okay? So what I'm going to do today, anytime you have an A window and you want to backtest it, right-click in the window and go to backtest strategy. Now I'm going to walk you through the module today, okay? And then we're going to optimize this strategy based upon two important variables, probably the most important, and that is price and time, okay? And tomorrow in 401, Jamie will show you how you can optimize based on all of our filter sets. So he will kind of, if you feel like you don't get it today, there's a lot involved when it comes to back testing. Don't worry, Jamie's going to spend probably 30 minutes on it tomorrow, or maybe 45. All right, so let's go through the module here. We're going to backtest this strategy. Okay, the first tab is in our odds maker configuration is entry time. This is what time you want to start backtesting the alerts that come through and what time you want to end them. Now, I'll give you a little tip here. Don't try to figure out by looking at your window when the best alerts come through, because our backtester is going to show you. So just go ahead and open this up all the way, okay? Every time you run it first. You'll see it when we go into optimization. It's going to show us what the best times are. The next tab is timed exit. All right, this is what time after you enter the trade, what time do you want to exit? Okay, if you want to day trade, best to use probably the top one up here. You've got a little toggle here that you can move back and forth. If you want to hold it for 90 minutes, put it on 90 minutes. If you want to all day trade till the end of the close, move it all the way to the right. Or you have the option to set the time that you want to exit, the exact time. Or if you want to swing trade, you have two options. You can get out at the market open or at the market close, and then you can use the toggle for how many days you want to hold it for. Now, I'm going to give you two reasons why I use pretty much 3 days almost every time. 3 to 5 days, but mostly 3 days. Okay, the main reason is, okay, remember you have to have an exit to backtest this strategy. Okay, so if you have it set for like 15 days, okay, your last 15 days of alerts that came through your window will not get backtested because there hasn't been an exit yet. Okay, another reason is, honestly, I can look at a chart and get a good idea, and many good traders can get a kind of an idea of where the stock may go over the next 3 days. But anybody that tells you where a market or a stock's going to be 2 weeks from now, you know, it's just and trying to sell you something probably. So I like to do it for those two reasons, about 3 days, okay? Because I want to get a lot of data points when I'm testing these. I don't want to be testing old data. All right, next tab is risk management. You have the option of dollars and percents. I always use percent because it's relative to the price range. So let me give you an example. If you're testing a price range from $5 to $100 and you're using a dollar, let's say you're using a 50-cent stop, a 50-cent move in a $5 stock is so much greater than a 50-cent move in a $100 stock, okay? You're gonna have some big percentage losses on small price stocks if you're using a 50-cent So I like to use percentage, keeps everything kind of relative. Now, you always need to use a stop loss, okay? If you're trying to back test strategies without a stop loss, you're just setting yourself up for some serious damage to be done to your P&L. In this case, since we're doing a swing trade, I like to use around 3%. Okay, if I'm doing a day trade, I like to use around 1%. Profit target, this is also subjective. I don't like to use the profit target. I just like to let it go ahead and run the full time. Some people say, hey, if I'm going to lose 3%, I want to make 6% on the upside. I'm going to go ahead and set a profit target. If I get that, I'll take it. I had just found that it works better if I just let the full time run. All right, but you always need a stop loss, guys. Advanced. Okay, the most important thing in this advanced tab is the toggle down here. This is how many days you want to back test. If you only want to do the last month or 30, this is actually 30 trading days. Okay, these are all trading days. You just put it on 30. Me personally, like I said, I like a big sample size. I like to open it up all the way and go ahead and do it for 62 days. That's about 3 calendar months. Advanced exit conditions. Guys, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I played around with this one time for about 4 hours, and I could not get anything to work better than my timed exit. This works on a % trailing stop. That's kind of self-explanatory. These are 15-minute bars. You can go ahead and play around with it. If you have any questions, just send it to info@trade-ideas.com. But I haven't had any luck with these advanced exit conditions. All right, then we have our summary, and then we simulate buy in this case. And what the odds maker is doing, it's going back and testing every alert that came through this window over the last 62 trading days. So a lot of data coming through, being tested, so bear with me. It should be done here in a second. Doesn't help that I'm on a country internet. My latency kind of. All right, so the odds maker is finished, and it drops us on our summary page. Now I'm going to show you the items that I think that are important. Equity curve. This is very important. You need to find strategies where you have a nice little slant like this is from the lower left to the upper right. Okay. Daily, if you want to see what days were profitable and what days were not, just click on the daily tab. Gives you a little graph there. Drawdown, I really don't look at this a whole lot because I can look at an equity curve and see where my drawdowns were. So I kind of focus on that. Buying power, same thing. I can see over here what kind of buying power I would need for this strategy based upon the total number of trades. Profit factor, very important data point. Okay, what this is, it's a simple formula. Okay, basically all it is your total profits divided by your total losses. Okay, so let's say you had a strategy that had 20,000 in profits and 20,000 in losses. That would be a profit factor of 1, breaking even. Ideally, what I like to do is get this profit factor as close to 2 as I can. Okay, obviously that's your profits are twice as greater than your losses. That would be a nice strategy. Total trade, self-explanatory. This is how many trades came through during that time frame. Winning percentage, same thing, pretty straightforward. Average winner versus average loser, very, very important. Okay, a lot of people think it's winning percentage. It's not. It's your average versus your. I've seen winning percentages of 40% that had a great profitable strategy because they would have like a 2-to-1 winner to loser ratio, which is great to strive for that. All right. All this other stuff is kind of self-explanatory. I do want to show you the calendar. Okay, you can pull up the calendar, and if you see a date that you want to check things out, just click on it. It'll show you all the trades on that date with the entry and exit times and prices and the profits based upon your position size. A lot of good information there. Okay, so spend some time in the calendar. It can be very helpful when building your strategies. Now let's go to the fun part, which is optimization. This is our optimization tab, and I'm going to take you, like I said, through probably the two most important variables, which are price and time of day. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is price. And right now I have the price interval is defaulted to $20. We're going to bring this down to 5. All right, so let's see if there's anything that we can see here that would help us in optimizing this strategy based upon price. And what you like to see is a series of like bad numbers or good numbers followed by a series of the opposite. That's where you can kind of splice it up. Okay, so let me show you here, for example. Look from $5 to $35. Profit factor, in most cases, not that great. 112 is not that great. This is horrendous, 0.78. That's 162 trades. I want to eliminate that if I can. 20 to 40 jumps up. That's not bad. And that's not bad, even though the winning percentage is not that bad. Great profit factor there. But then look at this. Gets pretty gnarly again. Drops back down to 90. A lot of trades. So let's start right here at $35. Things kind of pick up. Look at all this kind of nice green. Some and then it drops off again. So what we're going to do is make this the minimum 35. We can just right click, set min strategy to 35. It goes back into the configuration window and does it for us. Drops it in there. It's kind of neat. And now let's see if we can pick a max here. You know, it's pretty green and some decent numbers all the way down here to 60, 65. And then it drops off again after 65. Yeah, so I'm going to cut it off right here at $65. Set max strategy 65. Goes back into configuration, does it for us. So now let's run it again. We'll put this summary back up so we can compare the two. Backtest strategy again. All right, looks like it's going to be a little better. And look what we've done here. Okay, we've taken the profit factor since by changing the price there from 151 to 177, 1.77. Look how many trades we knocked off. Okay, we brought it from 2,000 all the way down to 615. And look at this winning percentage. Took it from 52 all the way up to 57. And obviously we chopped off a lot of the higher price stocks, so that brought it all the way down to 102 on the average. But we also brought the average loser down to 80 from 10. So about the same percentage drop on both of those. All right, so let's go now and go back in and see. Oh, by the way, we're only showing you one little graph here. We do, if you have commissions, you could plug this in and it will show you another line with your commissions, what your profits would be. Kind of neat if you want to see that. So what I want to do is go back. I'm going to go back into time now. Remember how I told you, don't try to guess what time the best trades come through. We will show you. I'm going to put it on time of day. It's defaulted to 60 minutes, but I'm going to actually put it on 15 minutes. Looky here. Okay, 8:30. Some nice profit factors in there, some nice winning percentage, but look what happens after about 10 o'clock, it starts to really drop off. Okay, I'm actually going to do this right here. We're going to chop it off right here at 9:45. Now, you cannot right click in here and change the time. Okay, you have to do that in your backtester when you run it. So let me show you. We're going to put it back on the summary page again. Now we have to go back in the backtester, backtest strategy. And this is where we grab our toggle. And what was it? Let me go double check here, make sure I got it right. It was 9, that's what I thought, 9:45. All right, we're going to put our toggle on 9:45. Try and do anyway. There we go. Simulate buy. All right, we've improved it again. Okay, it has gone from 1.77 to 1.86. We're getting really close to that too. Trades been brought down from 615 to 517, so dropped about 100 of those off, increased the winning percentage a bit, and our average winner went up a bit, but so did the average loser, about the same percentage return there. So not bad. Okay, but we're going to cut it off here. This is all I want to show you. Now tomorrow, Jamie will go into optimization, and we have a tab here, other filters. You can back test, optimize, I should say, on all of our other filters as well. So you can see how you can really go down the rabbit hole. All right. But that was just a great example of showing you, just by changing the price or optimizing the price and time, how much better we made this profit factor. All right, let me get me a drink of water here, and we are going to move on to the next topic. Let's see, time is doing good. All right, we're going to talk about using collaboration feature A to M. So let me pull up two windows over here. This one we built this morning, the test 301. I'm going to put that back on real time. And let's just take this pullback long swing we were working on right here. Now let's say this is your default layout. You have one space open. You have no more real estate on all of your monitors that you have. You want to squeeze, well, let's say you have two really good alert windows that you want to get into your default layout, but you only have one little space left. So you're like, gosh, I really want to use these. What can I do? Well, you can use a feature we call Collaborate to create a multi-strategy window. You can see this right here is a multi-strategy window. So let me show you how you do that. You go to New. By the way, you can launch everything we have from our New tab. Let's pull up a multi-strategy window. It should always be blank, just like this one. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to combine these two A windows. It has to be an A window. You cannot put a T window in there. We're going to combine these into this multi-strategy window by using a filter called Collaborate. Not a filter, but a feature. All right. So really it's really simple. All you got to do is remember the word collaborate, and remember you're copying from the A window and pasting into the M window. So let's go do this test 301 first. Right click, right, find the word collaborate. There's the code. We need to copy it. Copy all. It's on our clipboard now. Okay, we go over to this M window, right click, strategies, new strategy, keyword collaborate. And now we're pasting. All right, we're pasting the code into this window. And there you have it. We just moved this A window into that M window. Now let's do this one as well. Right click, find the word collaborate. What are we doing? We're copying the code. Coming over here to the M window, right click, strategies. Now we have to go to new strategy again. Collaborate, pasting. All right, we just put both of these strategies now into this M window in less than 30 seconds. Now, when you pull them over, they're not going to be color coded because it's not sure how you want to color code them, because you may be putting 5 or 6 strategies in here. Okay, so you have to go in and do that. Very easy to do. Let's do this 301 first. Go to 301, find colors. Go to foreground, it'll be defaulted to black. I'm going to use that. Go to background. Let's use this little light green here. It's a good combination. There's your sample color. Okay. And we did that one. Now let's do the other one, the pullback above 50 SMA. Go to colors. We'll use the same defaulted black. And this time we'll go with like this baby charger blue here. There you have it. We just color coded these two. Now, if you ever pull up these kind of funky icons and you're like me, you don't really like them, just go right click, properties, text headers. There you have it. We just created a nice little M window we could put in here, and now we could get rid of these two windows. All right. So hope everybody got that. It's pretty simple. Just remember the words collaborate and that you're copying from the A window, pasting into the M window. All right, next topic. Advanced symbol list, daily candles. If you go into channel 4, okay, you're going to see a lot of good windows in there, right there. Okay, one of those windows is going to be called bullish daily candlesticks. Patterns. All right, you're going to see it's an M window just like we just built. Now, if I right click and look at the strategies, you're going to say, wow, these are all candlestick patterns. Doji, hammer, bottoming tail. What does it mean? Okay, well, let's just look at the configuration of bottoming tail here. By the way, you can find this in any configuration window that you're looking at. Let's go to symbol list and click on add existing list. You're going to see all the symbol lists that you've created in there, but you're also going to see some ones we pre-configured for you. Okay, one of them is going to be called daily. Now you need to hit the expand button here, right? And that's going to show you all these candlestick patterns. The key word here is daily, all right? So for a daily candlestick, okay, to be computed, you need the open and the close, okay? So since this is a daily, we cannot be looking at today's data. So what our servers are doing, right after each market day closes, we go out and we find all these candlestick patterns for you, okay? So anytime you use this as a symbol list, okay, it's finding candlesticks from yesterday's, okay? It has nothing to do with today. Let me show you and it'll make sense to you here. So let's say you select bottoming tail, okay, and it puts it over here. You put a check mark in there and it drops down as only the following list. Now we know we're only looking at stocks that had a bottoming tail yesterday. All right, so we could put this in a top list and just look at it in a top list, but what I wanted to do, I wanted to configure a strategy that would allow me to profit from a bottoming tail yesterday. So this is what I did, okay? I'm using a new high alert. I'm using price above $5. I want to see normal volume. In other words, I don't want to see it hitting a new high on anemic volume. That's why I have volume in the 5 minute. It has to be, remember how I said 100% is normal for volume? So it has to be normal. Relative volume, same thing. 1 is average. Here we go again with position and ranges. Remember how I told you how powerful these are? This is position in previous day's range. I got it at 99% minimum, so it has to be at yesterday's high. And this is just an average volume for a 10-day range, or 10-day average volume, I should say. So this is something I can work with. Now I know I had a bottoming tail yesterday, and I have a new high with the stock taking out yesterday's high. Okay, that's powerful. Let's see what it looks like. See how it worked. We can just go in and right click and go to history. M windows are a little bit different. You can't go to today. You have to go to time frame. But an easy hack is just click on now and it will bring you everything up for today. All right, got a lot of stuff coming through. Let's see if it's working. Let's take a look at this legend here. Okay, there you go. Let me zoom in here for you so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, there was a bottoming tail yesterday. Okay, we got alerted on this when it took out yesterday's high. Nice little follow through too. Okay, let's see if we can find some more. Look at here, X. X doesn't have to be much of a bottoming tail. You can see this is not that big at all, but still it was considered a bottoming tail, and it did alert once it went through highs, although this one is kind of not doing a whole lot here. YPF, there you go. There's your bottoming tail yesterday, and there's your alert when it went through yesterday's high. So take a look at these guys. You can find them in, like I said, channel 4 of the channel bar. I will say this, bottoming tail and green bar reversal work the best. A doji and a hammer, they have to be exactly a doji and a hammer. In other words, in a doji, the close has to be the exact price of the open. So you don't see too many of those. I did see one here at the top or somewhere. There's a doji. You'll see what I'm talking about here. Yesterday, see, that close was exactly the same price as the open. It has to be. All right. Enough of that. Last topic here, guys. It's called a don't repeat function. And this is a question I used to always get. Why didn't my symbol show up in my scan? It's because he or she was probably using a don't repeat function. Now let me pull up Let's Go Fishing here. And I don't have a whole lot on this Let's Go Fishing, but this is the only one that I'm using a don't repeat function on. But anyway, if I right click on here and go to properties, you're going to see I have a don't repeat function checked. I have don't repeat for every 1 minute. Okay, you have several options here. You can say don't repeat 5, 15, all the way to don't ever repeat. Okay, so be careful because these things work. And what people will do, if you run a history, I'm probably gonna have to run a history on yesterday because there's not a lot coming through here. But let me show you let's go to yesterday. Okay, you can see yesterday, okay, when I ran a history, this MC, let me find a better example. Yeah, this MC right here came through at 12:32, 12:33, 12. So you can see it came through 4 times in a 1 minute time span when I run a history. That's because when you run a history on an alert window that has a don't repeat function, it ignores that don't repeat function. It gives you every alert that would have come through that window. So what people will do, they'll run a history on it and they'll say, wait a minute, it came through when I ran history, but it did not come through my window in real time. That's because you're running a don't repeat function. It's kind of quirky because anytime you go to history and you go back to real time, it kind of resets. Okay, so you can see there it resets. So what I would recommend doing anytime you want to compare like a real time alert with a history, duplicate the window. Just go ahead and duplicate it and then, you know, run your history. Let's pretend like this was today. Do it that way, and that way you won't lose any of your real-time data, because anytime you go from history back to real-time, it's going to reset, just like it did here. All right, guys, that wraps it up. We have finished 301. We'll cut off the recording now.